Hunger emergencies on the planet, with women and girls facing the sharpest edges of the crisis. According to a new UN Women Gender Alert titled Last and Least, millions of women are eating less or not at all. Conflict, mass displacement, market collapse, and blocked routes push communities to the brink. Female-headed households are 3 times more likely to face extreme hunger, and the report warns that the famine-like conditions are already taking hold in parts of Darfur, Kordofan, and Nuba Mountains. Well, for more on this and these findings and what needs to happen next, we're now joined by Salvator Nkurunziza, who's the UN Women's Representative in Sudan. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, and welcome to the program, Salvatore.
Appreciation is mine. Thank you.
This report lays out an extremely grim picture. How would you describe the scale and the urgency of Sudan's food crisis today, particularly for women and girls?
Well, we are seeing acute food insecurity in the part of North Darfur and South Kordofan, and the hunger emergency that now leaves nearly 11 million women and girls acutely food insecure. Health services, nutritional centers, agricultural activities have all collapsed. Over 80% of facilities are shut down, and after the last maternity hospital in El Fasher was looted, some women gave birth in the street. As families flee towards Tawila, Kolma, and Maliti, within Darfur areas and in the part of Kordofan, women report extreme hunger, sexual violence in the move, and no safe space left for them.
Why are women and girls particularly vulnerable?
Well, in general, conflict has a devastating impact on people's livelihoods in Sudan and basically in any war zone. Particularly women and girls for 2 drivers for female hunger. One, inside the household, norms means mothers and daughters often eat least, and many women skip meals to children can eat. 2, outside the home, access is dangerous. Blocked route and looting restricts aid in the market. There's so many checkpoints, and the women faces harassment and assault while queuing for rations or walking to get water points. So they travel less and eat less. The result is a gendered hunger gap that worsens as the war continue and shutting the whole supply lines.
How has the collapse of markets, blocked supply routes, and restricted humanitarian access intensified food insecurity for families, especially in the conflict-affected regions?
Well, it means extremely poor data quality and heightened malnutrition risks for women with the intergenerational impact. Health workers are already reporting rising severe acute malnutrition in infant and pregnant women, bringing complications linked to hunger, and with 80% of health facilities shut, life-saving care is outreach. Basically, the whole situation in El Fasher, in Darfur, in all some part of the country, it means that access is extremely very difficult. We have reports coming from the field, from our partners, how many women have been killed or children abdicated, raped on their way. So moving around has become a danger for women and girls in Darfur. particularly in besieged places.
I know that the word famine isn't a word that is easily used, but what you're witnessing, how close are we to that?
Well, access is very difficult. Humanitarian assistance haven't been able to reach some of those places. There's a services in Tawila that is ongoing, but as a UN Women, we are working with almost 45 and 46 women-led organizations. They are the frontliners. They are continue to provide assistance and food, kitchen, mobile kitchen, medical services. But with all this, with no skills, with no resources. So access is difficult, not only for the humanitarian communities, but it's becoming also very dangerous for the women-led organizations on the ground. So we get informations and report. We have daily contact with our partners, women-led organizations across the country, and particularly in the besieged areas.
And particularly when it comes to women and girls, I guess things like sexual violence are a huge concern. Displacement, loss of livelihoods, compounding the food insecurity for these women.
Absolutely, absolutely is extremely dire, dangerous. It's very, very bad situation, very bad. As the gender alert pointed out, the acute malnutrition is on rampant, is extremely very, very high. And also, unfortunately, the services that provide that care and the support has also shut down. So it's extremely very difficult for women and girls. The gender-based violence, particularly the conflict-related sexual violence, is very, very high. We have testimonies, very, very, very worrisome. I can tell you what we see, what we hear in the social media from the RSF fighters is really worrying. One of the pictures we saw last week was a female combatant from the RSF saying that they are going to march to Port Sudan. They are going to march to Khartoum, all the safe places, to rape and violate women. This was a woman talking that they are going to commit these atrocities. This have to stop. This is a crime against humanity.
What does your report recommend?
The report reports several actions. First, immediate halt to violence in Sudan. We urge all parties to commit to the humanitarian ceasefire that was declared recently. We need safe corridors and restored communication so aid can move. Second, we need to prioritize women and female-head households for food and livelihood support, and put women's health and protection, including sexual reproductive health, gender-based violence services, and the psychosocial support at the center of the response. Third, directly flexible funding to women-led organizations, running community kitchens, and the last mile services. The protection of all humanitarian personnel, particularly local women aid workers who risk their lives daily to sustain their communities. Last but not least, UN Women urge donors to recognize resources and partner with the women-led organizations. And we urge that to act now before it's too late. It's too late. The flexible funding and ensure women are fully and equal participants in decision-making on access, protection, and recovery. This here I need to call and quote the UN Security Council Resolution 1325 that call the parties in the conflict to engage and protect women, but also engage women in the peace processes, engaging women in decision-making, including in humanitarian assistance, as well as in the recovery.
Salvatore, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you very, very much indeed for bringing this report to our attention and highlighting this very needy scenario that's playing out in Sudan. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
That's Salvator Nkurunziza, UN Women's representative in Sudan, painting a really grim picture for women and children in particular.
From Africa's broadcast capital.